hippie hut down a country road. There's a girl named Jonesy with a carefree soul. She's got chickens in the yard, running wild and free, and she's rolling up her life in a sweet green dream. Jonesy in her hippie hut, life's a breeze, smoking that good stuff, feeling so at ease, with the chickens clucking and the sun so bright. Jonesy's living in her own kind of life. She wakes up with the sunrise, no shoes on her feet, dancing in the garden to a reggae beat. She's got a peace sign hanging on her front porch swing, and a big old smile for everything. Jonesing in her hippie hut, life's a breeze, smoking that good stuff, feeling so at ease, with the chickens clucking and the sun so bright. Jones's living in her own kind of life. She's got no worries, just the earth and sky, living her life, no need to try, with a heart full of love and a head full of dreams. Jones's riding on life's sweet stream. Jonesing in her hippie hut, life's a breeze, smoking that good stuff, feeling so at ease, with the chickens clucking and the sun so bright. Jones's living in her own kind of life. So if you ever feel lost or caught in a bind, just think of Jones and you'll surely find that the simple life's the one that's truly free, in a hippie hut just like Jones, and you see. So if you ever feel lost or caught in a bind, just think of Jones and you'll surely find that the simple life's the one that's truly free, in a hippie hut just like Jones, and you see.
Hello. Hello. Sorry, y'all. I'm looking for something. Okay. Pause. Okay. What is up? I am back. I know. Listen, guys. I know. It's because while I was live doing the drama stream, hold on, let's see what you guys want. While I was live doing the drama stream, I seen that there was the preliminary hearing for the Kentucky deputy that shot the judge. And so when I got off here, I went pick Caden up and listened to probably half of the preliminary hearing. And I have thoughts. So let's see. So I want to show y'all this one first. Okay. Welcome in, everybody. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for your girl. Let's go to TikTok. Because I'm going to show y'all something real quick. You hush. You should be ashamed.
The Letcher County District Judge.
Okay. Now, the reason I say she should be ashamed, where's she at? Is because
Kim, the lip is
just watch. Okay, so
no,
it's not that one. It's this one.
Crystal's in the awful shape. I made it to Louisville.
No, it's not.
I'm trying so hard.
Jesus Christ.
I heard that shape. I made it to Louisville. You find out you're 16.
Okay. So this is a lawyer lady on TikTok that does her makeup and all that. And this is her talking. She lives there and she works in that county. And this is her talking a little bit about the rumor mill.
17-year-old daughter has been messing around, having relations with a 54-year-old man, and that 54-year-old man just so happens to be a judge. Do you want to kill him? I mean, most of us would. But can you kill him and get away with it? Is he was messing around with my underage daughter? Is that a defense to murder charges? Not in Kentucky, probably not anywhere. Yesterday in Letcher County, Kentucky, Sheriff Mark Stines rolled up in Judge Kevin Mullins' chambers in the courthouse and shot the judge dead, firing what I've heard reported as either 6 or 8 shots.
All right, now what she's about to play right here is the supposed audio. And this is why I say she should be ashamed of herself. Because she put this out as the alleged audio of the shooting, right? Not the video, the audio from somebody, I guess, sitting in the courtroom or whatever. Or in the courthouse, whatever. And she's wrong because during the preliminary hearing, we see the video of him shooting this man dead. And trigger warning, but we're going to go over all this because just listen. Did y'all hear that? Pow, 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 pow.
That's the actual audio of the shots being fired in the judge's.
That's the actual audio of the shots being fired in the judge's chambers. That's what she says.
Chambers. I'm sure you've heard the information I'm about to share with you, but to be clear, it has not been confirmed. It's still just a rumor going around town. But according to the local rumor mill, Judge Mullins had been messing around with Sheriff Stines' underage daughter. It's been reported that after Sheriff Stines fired these shots into Judge Kevin Mullins, Sheriff Stines immediately walked out of the chambers, put his hands up, surrendered immediately, suggesting Sheriff Stines knew exactly what he was going to do when he walked into those chambers and closed the door, and he was fully prepared to face the consequences. Sheriff Stines is behind bars as we speak, and he has been charged with first-degree murder, which means he may spend the rest of his life behind bars. However, before Sheriff Stines can be
no, it's not, Kate.
Prison, he will have to be found.
It is not the actual audio. Like, now she's talking, you see how, she's just talking about the rumors and everything. But specifically in this video, I wanted to take note of that pew pew, the gunfire. Fuck it. The gunfire.
Found guilty as charged by a jury of his peers. That jury will hear the evidence, which we can assume will include a confession from Sheriff Stines that he did, in fact, shoot the judge. Assuming Sheriff Stines did confess to shooting the judge and that evidence is presented at trial, is there any way possible that Sheriff Stines...
And a tip for anybody, because I do think she's got pretty makeup, but a tip would be, see how shiny her forehead is? She needs to put some not baking powder, but like the makeup baking powder, setting powder. There we go.
Can walk away from this without wrong.
Oh shit, Steph B, thank you so much for that. Make sure you thank Steph if she got one. And welcome to the Hippie Hut.
Welcome to the Hippie Hut, man. Let's buy.
Thank you, Steph. Love you.
Jury nullification. Jury nullification happens when a jury in a criminal trial returns a verdict of not guilty, even though they know the state proved the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. They know the defendant's guilty, but they still return a verdict of not guilty. What I'm trying to say is, if Sheriff Stines can successfully convince this jury that his motive for killing the judge was because he found out that the judge was messing around with his underage daughter,
hey, Booshie,
he's got a shot at jury nullification. A long shot.
Okay. So then there's that one, and then she looks completely different without her makeup, though. I'm trying. See how
girl, you should be a lawyer. Right there? Girl, you should be a...
Look how different she looks without her makeup.
The Kim of Queens, Miss Belle... Kim Gravel, the Kim of Queens, Miss...
Now,
TikTok shop.
That would
I-
shock you if you
TikTok-
woke up
my-
to it expecting
My
something
nerves are
different, you know?
shot right now because Bear is outside.
Where's it at?
trying to get
Where's
a
it at? Oh, I
squirrel out of a
saved it to my
tree.
favorites.
Letcher County District Judge
All right, now pay attention to this one.
Kevin Mullins was laid to rest today after being shot dead in his chambers by Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Stines this past Thursday. Once news of the shooting broke Thursday afternoon, rumors started swirling immediately. On every social media post about the shooting, on every social media platform, the comment sections run amok with accusations that Judge Kevin
How dare the comment sections run amok with accusations, but yet on just the other video, your girl was adding to that.
Mullins had an inappropriate relationship with the sheriff's underage daughter. Oftentimes, I see people in the comment sections asking why news outlets aren't reporting this. The explanation is so simple and should be so obvious to all of us. There is not any, or at the very least, there is not enough evidence or information to corroborate, substantiate, or confirm those rumors, allowing responsible journalists to share that information with their audiences. I ain't saying the rumors are true or false. I have no way of knowing that. And most of y'all don't either. I couldn't help but notice that a lot of y'all are all too eager to believe these rumors. Maybe it's because what happened on Thursday just don't make no sense, and we're trying to make sense of it. It's hard to understand why a sheriff would roll up in a courthouse and fire, 6 or 8 shots into a sitting judge? There's got to be a good reason, right? Well, I reckon there is, and it may not be the reason.
This lady is a lawyer. Here's her. Her name's Makeup Artist at Law. She does her makeup, like that's her whole thing, but she also gives law advice. That's her TikTok link. And she's a lawyer in that county.
Y'all thought. It may not be the reason we're getting in all the comment sections on all the social media posts. Allow me to introduce you to Michael Clark.
I have spoken to the sheriff's wife and daughter and talked to her a couple of times today. And, you just really need to be praying and quit gossiping and spreading rumors. But
thanks for joining 50 Shades.
Because you're going to be really surprised when absolutely nothing that you've been posting.
No. She's a legit lawyer. She's a legit lawyer. From what I understand, from what I've looked up, she's a legit lawyer. I need to dig into her a little more, though.
Saying is true or accurate. And I have permission from the family to say that. Mental illness is real. People go through hard things that we don't know what they're going through. Bottom line, one of my best, closest, dearest friends, Judge Mullins, was killed yesterday, and one of my best.
Oh my God. You know what? I was thinking that too on the way home from picking Kaden up when I was listening to it. And I went back and I was like, let me see what that guy said. The Michael Clark guy. And I tried to friend request him on TikTok and he didn't accept it. So his shit's all private. I can't see what he's posting. So I had to go to her page. And that's what I was thinking. She's like the Temu version of Nancy Grace. Oh. Not a Temu Nancy Grace.
Best, closest friends, Sheriff Mickey Stines, is locked up and charged with murder. The motive and everything will come out, and everyone will eventually know why. And it's not going to be nothing. The reason that not you, but many are spreading and talking and hurting children. That the judge has a wife and children that's hurting. The sheriff has a wife and a child who I've spoke to twice today who are truly hurting.
I know Michael Clark. I have worked alongside Michael Clark getting drug addicts out of jail and into treatment. The impact that Michael Clark has had on the recovery community in Eastern Kentucky is immeasurable. He's also a pastor of a church. Now, that doesn't automatically give him credibility in my book. Some of the most crooked, corrupt, and deceitful people in the world hide behind pulpits. But like I said, I know Michael Clark. I've been in his presence, and I'm telling you what, my spirit bears witness with that man's spirit. The Lord said they will know us by the fruit that we bear.
Tell me she didn't sound like Nancy Grace when she said that. Tell me.
Michael Clark bears the right fruit.
Hey,
I did
was it?
not know Sheriff Stines, even though I'm from Eastern Kentucky. I've practiced law there. I've had very few cases in Letcher County, but I have met Judge Mullins and been in his courtroom. Not a lot, but a few times. The only thing I ever really knew about Judge Mullins as a practicing attorney in Eastern Kentucky was his commitment and dedication to recovery. As you can see from the recovery completion certificates pinned to the walls all around his courtroom. I'm really making this video
That's
in hopes
so
that more
good.
people will see Michael Clark's video, because unlike most of the people spreading the rumors, Michael Clark is actually speaking from firsthand personal knowledge. That being said, if these rumors are in fact proven true and you want to trample and spit on Judge Mullins' grave, pour it on it. He deserves it. On the other hand, I think it would behoove us all to stop for a moment.
Oh,
and consider
hell.
that if
Oh, hell no, she did not.
as Michael Clark suggests, there is no truth to these salacious rumors, the magnitude of the injustice we are doing to this man's legacy by spreading them, that too is immeasurable and equally, if not more so, heinous than the accusations themselves.
Okay. So just keep that in mind. Michael Clark. I can't find him on Facebook yet. I'll keep looking. But Michael Clark came out and said, stop the rumors. That I've talked to the family, all of this. Okay. Keep that in mind as we go over this preliminary hearing. I gotta edit this banner and it's not letting me. Oh, it's because it was up. Hold on, I'll fast forward it. Hey, Cammy. All right, so there's the sheriff. Well, I thought I found the right Michael Clark. I guess I didn't. It looks like him. There's no sound to it yet. Damn, I know this is him. Oh, well. Oh, that's for sure him. Let's see. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, they do show the video of the shooting. Please. I mean, that's a trigger warning for sure. September 24th, he was killed. Okay, so I think some of the family. But Michael Clark was, you heard him, he was saying like keep in mind mental health and all that. Now, I don't know who this woman is, but I'm pretty sure the woman you can't see sitting next to her is the judge's mom. And I mean, she's wearing all black. She's got a little pin pinned on her shirt dress. So I don't know. That might be his wife. I mean, she does look like, she's going through some shit. All right. Jeez Louise.
Is the defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, call your first witness.
Holocaust Clayton Stanford.
All right, click. Mr. Stamper, if you would. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
No, I'll have to check that out. Thanks for coming in, One Shot.
Clayton Stanford. ClaytonStamper.
Joe, how are you employed?
I'm sorry.
How are you employed?
I'm a detective with the Kentucky State Police assigned to Post 13 Hazard.
How long have you been employed in that capacity?
I've been with KSP a little over 24 years, detective since 2006.
And have you, in the performance of duties as detective of the police, have you investigated the death of Kevin Mullins?
Yes, sir, I did.
And can you tell us on what date that was?
It was September 19th, 2024.
In investigation of that death, were you able to determine who killed Kevin Mullins?
Yes.
And how were you able to do that?
Video surveillance footage.
And did you retrieve that video surveillance footage?
I did.
You know, at this time, the company play video footage.
All right. All right, I'll check. Approach.
Yes, approach the bench. You ready to proceed?
Call straight, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
Reported as either 6 or 8 shots. As either 6 or 8 shots. That's the actual audio of the shots being fired in the judge's chambers. I'm
Are you fucking kidding me? I was on mute that whole time. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. Well, my point was on this video, the sequence of shots are back to back. And she says, she didn't say allegedly this is the audio. She said it is the actual audio. And when you watch the camera that we just watched, we know that the firing was not back to back like that. Does that make sense? That's what I was explaining. I'm so sorry I was muted. That poor family, though.
And will you ever identify the parties we saw in that video?
That was,
I don't know if that's his mom or his wife. I'm not sure.
Stines and Judge Kevin Mullins,
And also, who had the firearm?
Sheriff Stines.
And then, Judge was also in his black robe.
Yes,
Do you know what portion of the courthouse that is?
that is the judge's chambers
And where's that located at, physically located?
in the Letcher County Courthouse.
So I'll have you on.
Would you like to cross-examine the witness?
Now, this part is why my thumbnail is what it is, because this dude was super unwilling to answer the fucking questions.
It was a short clip that was played.
So this is the defense cross-examining him. Josh B, welcome to the Hippie Hut. Thanks, man. Oh, you do? Yeah, well, there was no sound from the chambers video camera, but if it was somebody like that was using their phone recording something out in the courthouse, they probably would have caught the gunshots on recording. The problem is they weren't in rapid succession like that. Boom, 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 boom. No, he shot twice, walked around the desk, then shot once, walked back around the desk, and then shot probably one or two more times.
There, how long do you believe that clip was?
That we just watched,
Yes, sir.
just 10
It's just a
seconds,
preliminary
15
hearing.
15 seconds. In fact, the video that was taken in the judge's chambers between the meeting between Sheriff Stines and Judge Mullins, it's my understanding that video lasted much longer, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I think that's his daughter behind him. Pretty sure.
And have you had an opportunity to review the video
I have.
of the prior incident?
I have.
And can you describe for us what happened immediately prior to the clip that we saw?
Well, he pled not guilty. So they haven't really, they don't say what the defense is, but just keep listening because his attorney alludes to the rumors being true.
Sheriff Stines uses his telephone to make some phone calls. He then borrowed.
Bro, that's exactly my problem. Like, you only clipped out a tiny little 10, 15 second of the clip, but what about the rest of the video? And why are you not wanting to answer these questions? Let me shut up.
Judge Mullins' cell phone and appears to make a call on that.
Let me
And
rewind.
that led to,
Of the prior incident?
I have.
And can you describe for us what happened immediately prior to the clip that we saw?
So he's telling us what happened before the clip that y'all brought out.
Sheriff Stines uses his telephone to make some phone calls. He then borrows Judge Mullins' cell phone and appears to make a call on that.
Mm.
And that led to what you just saw.
Okay. So
And that led to what you just saw.
my understanding there were some people who were having a meeting with Judge Mullins prior to the sheriff's entry into the chambers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you identified those witnesses?
I don't know the names of them. There's about approximately 4 people in there. Then Sheriff Stines enters the judge's chambers, and everybody else clears out.
You don't know their names?
Not right off, no.
Now, how are you the head investigator and you don't know the names?
Prepared a report?
In the process, yes.
You're in the process of preparing a report?
Yes, a lot of information.
But you've not spoken to any of those witnesses?
I've not directly, but they've all been interviewed. There's recorded interviews of those people in the case.
Okay, so other officers have spoken with those 4 witnesses?
Yes.
And what is your understanding of what those 4 witnesses have said?
I don't recall.
You have no idea what they said?
No.
She's either 16 or 17.
I want to make sure I understand. Had there been a hearing previously this day in chambers?
In the courtroom?
No, in chambers.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And so there's a video camera that is running in the district judge's chambers. Is that on all the time?
It's my understanding, yes.
Have you spoken with anyone about why that may be?
Answer the question. Okay. Now, y'all remember the first time we went over this, we know that the sheriff was being sued along with one of his deputies who resigned because that deputy was head of the drug court and was sexually assaulting women in the drug court, right? In like the accountability court. And he was, so this woman was trying to sue the sheriff too, because I mean, he's the sheriff, right? He's over the deputy that was doing that to her. Turns out, guys, I thought it was because they was doing that in the sheriff's office without him knowing. No, turns out the deputy was doing that to those women in the judge's chambers.
No, I mean, there's cameras throughout the courthouse.
Well, fair enough, but are you familiar with district judges' chambers normally, how they're set up?
No, I mean, some of them have video surveillance and some don't.
Right, but
this one does.
Generally, when they have surveillance, you agree with me that that is utilized when there is a.
You're not following? Well, it's basically, okay. When we were speculating on why this deputy shot the judge, there was rumor that the judge had done something to the deputy's daughter. And then the other rumor was that since the judge was the one presiding over the sheriff's case, the lawsuit where he was being sued, that it could be something to do with that. So the reason he's asking about the cameras is he's bringing to light that, hey, the sheriff was being sued for what his deputy was doing to these women. But what the deputy was doing to these women was happening in the judge's office, the judge's chambers.
Proceeding going on in chambers, correct?
It could be, yes.
Okay. And I'm just asking, so this video didn't have an audio recording to it, correct?
No, there's no audio.
Outside of once the 4 people that were inside that we don't know their names, once these 4 people had left the chambers.
So there were 4 people in the judge's chamber with the judge. So 5 people total. And they were having a meeting. The sheriff came in. The judge excused the other 4 people. And that's the witnesses he's referring to.
Were they in an area adjacent where they could hear anything that was going on?
Yes, I believe some of them did remain in the next room.
Okay. And what did they tell us?
Do I?
What did they hear?
I've not been part. I wasn't part of those interviews.
It don't matter, first off, if you was part of the interviews or not. You're over the whole investigation. So anything they record, I would think he should have heard by now.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, you're prepared for a
No, the judge was not there. His chambers was being used by that deputy to assault the drug program ladies. Mm-hmm.
preliminary hearing on a murder, and there are witnesses in an adjacent room.
I mean, they heard
Can I put
gunshots.
my question, please? Thank you, officer. So you are investigating a murder and testifying in a preliminary hearing, and there are witnesses who may have overheard what preceded this edited clip, yet you can't tell us today anything that they said?
I've not personally listened to those interviews. I've talked to the other officers that did those interviews.
Fair enough. And I mean, we're here at a preliminary hearing, as you know, that you can testify to hearsay. I'm asking you what they said.
They heard gunshots.
Okay.
That is not all they said. He is asking you for a reason.
Are there any statements that they overheard?
No.
Were there raised voices?
There one
exactly.
one person stated that she didn't recognize him as being Judge Mullins' voice, but heard somebody say, "Help, help."
Now, supposedly they had been hearing from outside the chambers, the deputy and the judge, not the deputy, the sheriff and the judge arguing. See, that was a 15-second clip of when he actually gunned down the judge, but they had been sitting in there for a little bit. Yes, very true. The superiors have to answer for what the peons do. They do. So even though the sheriff didn't know anything was going on, that's why he was being sued, because he was over the deputy that was sexually assaulting these women.
Presumably that will be after the firearm was drawn. Or
I think so, Cammy.
shot. I would draw, Judge.
Withdraw.
So is there any testimony that you can give us today about any statements or arguments or the content of that argument prior to the shooting?
No.
Okay.
Hey, Truth Seeker. Why are you not wanting to answer the questions, sir?
I want to ask generally, so did you process the scene? Are you the lead investigator on this case?
I am.
Okay.
All right, there you go. Y'all heard it from his own fucking mouth. He's the lead investigator on this case. Ain't heard none of the interviews, ain't conducted none of the interviews. All he's heard is what the interviewers told. No, what the interviewees told the interviewers, which is the telephone game. No, fuck that. You should have been done started listening to these witnesses.
Okay, so as a lead investigator, I would presume that you would have secured the chambers and evidence once you arrived.
I was part of that, yes.
You were part of it, right? But you're the lead investigator, so you'd be in charge of those duties and delegating what should be done. Is that fair?
No, I don't delegate what's done.
Okay, so you're the lead investigator. What does that mean?
I'm the case officer.
Okay, so you're carrying the case. So I want to make sure I understand. Had Judge Mullins been removed from chambers when you arrived?
No.
Yep.
To ascertain, did he have a firearm on his person?
We did not locate one.
Yeah.
We did not. Okay, did he have a firearm on his person? He's referring to the judge. He said we did not locate one. Well, it's just a yes or a no.
Did not locate one?
No, there's not one in the chambers.
Okay. And there was none on his person?
No.
Okay. All right. Who was the first person to arrive on behalf of law enforcement to investigate?
They were already in the courthouse.
Fair enough, but I'm talking about in terms of people that we may see a report from or take part in this investigation. Who would be the first person?
I believe Trooper Jason Bates was the first KSP personnel on scene.
And you spoke with him, and
I did.
And he searched and did not locate a firearm?
No, he didn't search the scene. No. His role at that point was security of the scene.
I understand, but I'm just trying to ascertain. You said earlier that there's no firearm found.
No.
I'm wanting to know, can you tell us, was it specifically searched for a firearm?
In the judge's chambers?
Yes, sir.
There was myself, Detective Chris Collins, Detective Scott Caudle, Detective Eric Caldwell. That's all I recall right now.
He's so shaky voiced.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand. So who searched?
He didn't ask who all was in the office. He said who searched specifically for the firearm.
Specifically for a firearm.
We all did.
And that was specifically something you looked for?
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yes. Same department. Same department.
Of course, your investigation, did you ascertain that prior in the day there had been a lunch meeting between Sheriff Stines and Judge Mullins?
There was.
Pardon?
There was.
I know, right,
Sorry,
D?
I couldn't hear your response. I wasn't being trite. So where did this take place?
It's a restaurant called Street Side, and it's just down the street from the courthouse.
Okay.
Now, I don't want anybody to take me wrong. Like, the dude still lost his life. He still had kids and a wife and family that loved him. Like, that does fucking matter. Even if the rumors are true, it doesn't give you a right to just gun someone down the way he did. But on the flip side of that, if the rumors are true, I can understand a little bit, not quite 100%, but a little bit, the crime of passion.
And it's my understanding there were a couple of other people who attended the luncheon.
There were several, yes.
Okay. And at some point after that, they wrapped up lunch.
So they're talking about when they went to lunch prior to this visit at the courthouse. They was all having lunch together.
And left, obviously, and went back to the courthouse. Are you aware of anything so far in your investigation that would tell us there was any issues at lunch between Judge Mullins and Sheriff Stines?
No.
I feel like he's full of shit. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I feel like he's full of shit because we heard about the lunch and all that prior. And let's keep in mind, this attorney is the defense attorney. He works for the sheriff. So he knows what the sheriff's told him. Now, is the sheriff lying? I don't know. Because that would mean if something didn't, like, how could something not happen at the lunch, but outside witnesses and the sheriff, like, how would they know each other were saying that, you know?
But someone on behalf of the KSP has spoken to those witnesses?
Yes, they've all been interviewed.
And there was nothing unusual that had arisen during that luncheon?
I was told that the judge made a statement to Mickey about, do we need to meet private in my chambers? That's all I was told.
Do you know?
So out of all the witness interviews, that's all he got.
The context of what the conversation was before that they would need to discuss in chambers?
I do not.
So it's my
it's still a possibility, but we just don't know. We just don't know.
Understanding that in the larger portion of the video that we haven't had access to, that there is a point when Sheriff Stines asked for to see the telephone of Judge Mullins.
That's just the rumor. That's the rumor. We don't know. I'm going to rewind it a little just to replay that portion, but that's the rumor. And then one of the family friends came out and spoke and said, stop spreading that rumor. You're hurting the family. And now the sheriff's defense lawyer is basically pulling the rumors back out and making it seem like the rumors were true.
In the larger portion of the video that we haven't had access to, that there is a point when Sheriff Stines asked for to see the telephone of Judge Mullins.
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I would presume that you and the other officers you mentioned, when you secured the scene, that you secured those phones as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
And have you reviewed both of those phones?
They're currently at the forensic lab at this time being downloaded. I have had discussions with the people at the lab regarding the downloads.
And those are a couple of other
Yeah,
questions
he does.
I want to ask you, but my original question was,
Yeah, this detective works for the state.
have you reviewed or are you aware of the content of the phones?
I've not personally seen it because I've not received those reports yet.
Okay, again, based upon your conversations with the officers, are you aware of any recent content that was up and could have been relevant at the time of their discussion?
I was told that Sheriff Stines had tried to call his daughter, and he had tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
So what Vinny said happened did happen. He was in there talking to the judge. He used his phone. Then he put his phone down and used the judge's phone. So he tried to call his daughter from his phone and then from the judge's phone.
So have you obtained the phone records from Judge Mullins' phone?
I don't have those in my possession yet. No.
Okay. Have you issued a search warrant for them?
Yes.
Okay. And have officers confirmed that the sheriff's daughter's phone number was on Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes. I believe so. Yes.
So that number
Now, why the fuck would that judge have this man's daughter who's sitting over here behind him? Yes, she's 17. Why would he have her number on his phone? This is speculation by me. I got thoughts, man.
number had been called from Judge Mullins' phone.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And Mama, I know Mama said earlier, like, if that is his daughter sitting behind him, she looks old enough to be able to make decisions for herself. Well, 17, she's still legally a child, right? But she's pretty much, according to age, an adult. And I put that in quotes, an adult. But she ain't been 17 forever. What if if something was going on? What if it was going on for prior years? Right, Army?
So we don't have a viewing of what transpired during that exchange of phones. But based upon your review of those moments prior to, when Sheriff Stines observes that cell phone, was he previously seated?
Yes.
He did not want to answer that. Why?
Okay, so in the clip we saw, he was standing the entire time.
He was seated in front of the judge's desk.
And he looks at
Mhm.
the cell phone. Can you describe his reaction in the video that we haven't seen?
Whose reaction?
Well, the sheriff.
You can't see his face in the video.
Okay. But is it clear that, does it appear to you that, let me rephrase this. Did he stand up after
Yes.
looking at the phone?
He stood up.
And how long after he looked at the cell phone and stood up did this occur that you played?
Just seconds.
Did you make the decision as on edits today for what you were going to present? In terms of, did you make the edit or determine which portion of the video we were going to see today?
No, sir, I did not.
Both cell phones have been sent to the Kentucky State Police forensic team. Is that correct?
Yes.
And see, I think the full video is absolutely necessary. Not necessary to us right now, but to the case. And I think it's kind of weird that they only wanted to show the portion where he was getting gunned down, but they didn't want to show where they were sitting there talking and the phone exchange and the phone calls and all that.
Have you gotten any early report on what was
I will,
found?
Josh B.
No.
What was?
Hey, Bandy.
Were both phones still on the desk when you arrived?
The judge.
Oh, interesting. Look, Pamela said, age of consent in Kentucky is 16, so judge wouldn't have gotten jail time. Most likely the judge is 60. I'm sure most parents would have an issue with that. And you can bet the farm on that. Yeah, we will. I think it's very important that this attorney is bringing it up to him right now, though.
Judge's phone was on the desk. Sheriff Stines' phone was on his person.
Okay. So are there photographs of, was the phone locked at that point or was it still open?
Are you asking about both of them? Or?
Well, first let's talk about, that's fair. First, I'm talking about Judge Mullins, since it was the one that was still on the desk and presumably nobody touched it prior to you securing it, correct?
No.
So, yeah, so would like to know about that. Have you ascertained what was currently open on that cell phone?
No, I don't know at this point. No.
You don't know?
No.
Get the fuck out of here. Yes, you do know. How would you not? This is your investigation.
Do you think that would be important to learn?
I hope to learn that when the report's ready, yes.
But as of today, you can't tell us
No.
what was currently open on the judge's phone.
No, sir.
Did you conduct an interview with Sheriff Stein's daughter?
He don't know. He don't remember. He don't know or remember anything.
I did not, but she has been interviewed.
Are you aware of who was present when she was interviewed?
Lieutenant Randy Combs and Detective Anthony Trotter.
She was
Interesting.
with or without her parent?
With.
So her parent was present at the time you interviewed her?
Yes, I believe. I wasn't there, but yes, I think so.
Again, he don't know, attorney.
Time you interviewed her?
Yes, I believe. I wasn't there, but yes, I think so.
Law enforcement has not spoken to her without her parent present?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did the Kentucky State Police obtain her phone?
No.
What? Why? Her phone was called not only by her father's phone, the sheriff's phone, but also instantly behind that, her phone was called by the judge's phone. So why would you not take her phone and dump it? This happened seconds before he shot him.
You intend to obtain records for her cell phone number?
Possibly, yes.
Do you believe that that will be soon that you'll do that?
Could be, yes.
Had you already intended to do that, or did you just respond to my question?
Well, the call should be on the judge's records too.
Well, I understand.
And she's made statements about what occurred during those conversations.
I understand that, but
So then he calls him out and basically says the only like you wasn't even planning to take that girl's phone. You just pretending like that's a possibility because I'm confronting you.
you intend to obtain records for her cell phone number?
Possibly.
You heard that, Deets?
Do you believe that that will be soon that you'll do that?
Could be, yes.
Had you already intended to do that, or did you just respond to my question?
Well, the call should be on the judge's records too.
Well, I understand.
And she's made statements about what occurred during those conversations.
Well, then she needs her phone dumped.
I understand that, but I would presume that have you ascertained whether Judge Mullins also had apps that stand outside all phone records?
I've not received those records yet. I don't know what's on the phone.
Well, fair enough, but I mean, did you look at the phone? Did it appear there were apps on it?
I'm not the person that's qualified to look through.
Fuck. He drives me nuts, y'all. They're asking about apps outside of the phone records. So apps like Snapchat and shit.
The phone.
Okay, but you're familiar with cell phones. They can host other forms of communication. Yes, sir.
What's the objection?
He's asked a question about 4 or 5 different ways. He offers.
Yeah, it's in Kentucky.
He does not have a report with phones. He's not good with the phone. He can't testify that matter.
I'll let him ask the question, and what he can only testify what he has personal knowledge about.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right.
That's the point in the prelim.
So you're aware that
She is
phones
beautiful.
can be used for apps such as Facebook.
Yes.
Okay. And that is not something that is captured by cell phone records. You would agree with me?
I agree.
So in light of that, although the records may be mutually the same, right, the same between Judge Mullins' phone and the sheriff's daughter, do you believe that you could also ascertain other information from the cell phone app content?
Yeah, with Celebrate, right? Deets, I don't know, because I don't know much about Celebrate, but can't they access all things pertaining to the phone that way?
Are you asking what apps are on the phone?
Yes. Well, that was my original question.
I don't know I've not received that report yet. I don't know what apps he had downloaded on the phone.
If he has social media apps, do you intend to?
That could lead to additional search warrants, yes.
If you would also please let me finish before you move forward, and I'll try to slow down a little bit as well, okay?
Okay,
Sure.
not all things. Okay, so some things they would have to get additional warrants for, right? Like the apps.
Have you determined whether there were any
Okay.
previous
Thank you, Jenny.
issues, personal or professional, between Sheriff Stines and Judge Mullins?
I've heard things.
What have you heard?
Just that of this regarding the lawsuit that the Letcher County Sheriff's Office is currently involved with.
The lawsuit that involved ultimately a criminal conviction of a deputy for sexual behavior in the judge's chambers. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. And the subject matter of that lawsuit, the chambers area, that's the same chambers in which this occurred. Is that correct?
I'm not familiar with the details of that case.
Look, he's getting fed up because dude is fucking lying. He knows that the deputy that was assaulting the women in the drug program, the rehab program, was doing that in the same chambers that he just died in. That's the whole reason the camera is there. That's the whole reason the camera caught the sheriff shooting the judge, is because of that lawsuit. They had to put a camera in there.
the lawsuit resulted from.
Okay.
It's lying.
Are you
Why?
aware of any criminal reports that Sheriff Stines had made of Judge Mullins prior to this day?
No.
Fucking liar.
Did you personally observe Sheriff Stines following this video?
Did I personally observe him? What?
Did you meet with him? Did you talk to him after?
He was in custody when I arrived at the courthouse that afternoon.
And at some point, did you draw any observation about his demeanor?
He was mostly calm, I thought. I mean, I talked to him, but he didn't say nothing about why this had happened. But he was calm. He was kind of afraid that basically all he said was, "Treat me fair." That's basically the comments he made.
Okay. Did he also make a statement about? I didn't see it in the citation.
Because he knows he works in a fucked up, corrupt ass county.
You're somewhere along the line. I saw a statement being attributed to him about protecting his family.
I wasn't.
So it's crazy. This dude didn't know nothing about nothing, didn't hear nothing about nothing. Why the fuck are you an investigator? Pretending to not know shit. You can tell he's lying. His voice is shaky.
Present, but when he was taken into
Let me
custody,
rewind that a little.
I saw a statement being attributed to him about protecting his family.
I want y'all to pay attention. I'm sorry, I have to do it. But right here where the defense attorney starts to question him about the statement he made about protecting his family. This dude already knows what he's about to ask and doesn't seem like he wants that question brought up. Look. Bro.
A statement being attributed to him about protecting his family.
I wasn't present, but when he was taken into custody, I was told by one of the other officers that were there that he made the comment, "They're trying to kidnap my wife and kid."
What? Dietz is on it. They have to go through the proper channels to ensure everything holds up in the system. I agree, but I think that there's some things he could have just gave a simple yes or no answer to that wouldn't affect an upcoming trial, right? There's just things, he just seems like he's trying to be complicated. But did y'all just hear that? He made the comment, "They're trying to kidnap my wife and kid."
When he was taken into custody, I was told by one of the other officers that were there that he made the comment, "They're trying to kidnap my wife and kid."
Mm-hmm. You didn't want to tell that part, did you? Who they? Hey, buddy, who's they? I bet you know who they is. I'm sorry. I need to stop. I'm sorry. This just happened last week, Deets. This just happened last week.
Now, have you ascertained any evidence that this
Mm-hmm.
shooting was pre-planned?
No, not at this time.
And would you agree that from what we've seen so far, from the evidence you've seen so far, the shooting was a reaction to what was on that cell phone in that moment? Is that accurate?
Objection, Your Honor. All speculation outside of his scope of expertise.
Your Honor, I believe that if he has formed an opinion about the investigation up to this point, especially at a preliminary hearing, he can speculate on that.
Or sustained.
Sure. So, is there anything other than the content of the phone that this video will reveal to us about why this took place?
No.
Does it appear that this took place as a reaction to what was happening in the chambers at that point?
I can say it occurred after a phone call was made. I don't.
Oh my goodness. It's Jake. Well, okay, here's my devil's advocate to your devil's advocate. Okay, Just Jake says, devil's advocate coming in. Maybe the judge was helping the sheriff's wife and daughter get away from the sheriff. That's always a possibility. The only reason I can't roll with that is because the wife and daughter are sitting behind him right now in the courtroom. If they wanted to get away from him shooting the judge is their way. You know, they're pretty much clear of them, but they still find themselves sitting behind them and supporting them.
Know what was said or nothing like that. But
fair enough, and I'm not asking you the content of any of that, but at this point, is it your theory that whatever that content was in the discussion was the impetus of the shooting?
it could be, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay. Do you have any evidence of it
Covering for the judge
that you have developed that was?
The only reason I could see, other than, you know, wanting to maintain the integrity of the upcoming trial, because the sheriff has pled not guilty. The only other thing I can think of on why he is so reluctant to answer would be because he doesn't want to put the judge on blast, because he's also putting by proxy their whole system on blast, because there's obviously shit going down here. And this is a tiny, tiny little town. They ain't even got metal detectors for you to walk in court with. Like, you ain't got to go through metal detectors.
Was in the discussion was the impetus of the shooting.
It could be, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay. Do you have any evidence up until this point that you have developed that would demonstrate that it was not, as a reaction to what was on the phone?
No.
None whatsoever?
No.
Okay. Just if I had just one moment for. Did you attempt to speak to Sheriff Stines at the Leslie County Jail after the incident?
No.
Did anyone from your agency attempt to interview him?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And at that point, had he asserted his
Makes me wonder, OG.
right to an attorney or anything?
No.
But nobody went back to try to talk to him or do an interview?
No.
Why? They was just gonna let him. I mean, usually when you arrest a suspect, not even a suspect, but I mean, he turned himself in. He said, okay, I shot the judge. So don't they usually take them to an interview room and do a interview? Why did they not do that with this sheriff? Why did none of them feel like they needed to go back there and do a little interrogation or a little interview to see what his side was? Or for him to even say, I ain't talking, I want a lawyer. Y'all didn't even fucking try to talk to him? Weird.
I think I have one other question. In addition to cell phones that we discussed, the cell phone of Sheriff Stines and the cell phone that you found of Judge Mullins, were there additional phones that you were able to obtain?
There was one other phone that's currently being examined, and the basic reason it was seized was there was a text conversation between Sheriff Stines and some of his employees with the sheriff's office.
Okay, and that was an additional phone of Sheriff Stines.
It was a phone of,
Probably a work phone.
I guess she's the, I don't know what her title is, but she's employed. She's not sworn. She's employed by the Letcher County Sheriff's Office. And she voluntarily gave her phone to the person that interviewed her.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, could you explain why that was relevant or germane to your investigation?
I didn't conduct that interview, but it was, I guess it was regarding the dinner at Streetside and things that led up to the shooting. But
okay, but why was her phone in the office? Because he asked him. Let's go back.
To cell phones that we discussed, the cell phone of Sheriff Stines and the cell phone that you found of Judge Mullins, were there additional phones that you were able to obtain?
Oh, okay. He didn't ask were there additional phones that were in the office. I thought that's what he asked. But no, were there additional phones that you were able to obtain?
there was one other phone that's currently being examined, and the basic reason it was seized was there was a text conversation between Sheriff Stines and some of his employees with the sheriff's office.
Okay, and that was an additional phone of Sheriff Stines.
It was a phone of, I guess she's the, I don't know what her title is, but she's employed. She's
yeah,
not
but
sworn.
you know, older people call lunch dinner.
She's employed by the Letcher County Sheriff's Office, and she voluntarily gave her phone to the person that interviewed her.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, could you explain why that was relevant or germane to your investigation?
I didn't conduct that interview, but it was, I guess it was regarding the dinner at Streetside and things that led up to the shooting. But I don't have those results either, so I don't know exactly what was said.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought when we discussed that earlier that you indicated there was no evidence that the conversations at the lunch.
I haven't seen those conversations yet. I've not received them.
No, you haven't seen those conversations yet, but you still just sat here and said that it had something to do with what happened at the lunch. Like, what the fuck?
Downloads from the phone.
Right, but I asked you if you're aware of any information that could have been gleaned from witnesses at that meeting. And as I recall, you said no, but there is some information that something was discussed at this lunch. Is that correct?
I don't know what was discussed at lunch.
I understand, but you obtained this lady that we don't know her name. You obtained her phone in an effort or based on a belief that she would be able to demonstrate what was said at lunch. So you would agree with me, you believe that there is a witness or information that may have popped up at lunch.
There's a recorded interview with her in the case, and I'm yet to receive the downloads of the phone, so I don't know what they contain.
So full of shit.
Has that phone been sent to the
It is.
forensic examiner?
Well, yeah, D, it's like for stuff that's been deleted, especially. But I would think, like, this defense attorney's thinking is like, okay, so you grabbed both phones. You didn't like try to unlock them. You didn't try to see what was on the screen when you got them. You know, and then this woman supposedly handed it over, volunteered her phone. So she probably told them, hey, this is on this phone. Why wouldn't they look? Or maybe they did look and they just don't want to tell.
As well.
Yes.
Thank you. Also, that's all I have. Thank you.
Josh B, thank you so much, baby. Thank you. Make sure you thank Josh B if you got a membership. Thank you, friend.
Welcome to the Hippie Hut, 9. Let's buy.
Has Judge Mullins, he sent to medical examiner's office and autopsy.
He was.
Have you received that report yet?
No.
Have you had an informal conversation with him regarding his cause of
Mhm.
death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Multiple gunshot wounds.
This, you see how immediately when the state gets back up there with them, they stick to just the gunshots. So basically there was something that led him to react for whatever reason. There's something, and the state wants to make sure that they keep all minds on the shooting part of it, not the things that led up to it. But unfortunately, that's just not how things work. People are going to want to know what led up to it, and he very well could get off if it's something horrible.
The video we showed earlier, that a true and accurate clip copy of what you received?
Yes.
Councilman introduced Council Exhibit number 1, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Right, I'd ask, of course, all we saw today was the clip, but I asked it to be admitted in its entirety.
You want to respond to that?
Did not, only thing preliminary hearing is required for probable cause. This is statute of probable cause. I think the entire clip is outside the purview of these proceedings today.
Yeah, I think if you want to see the whole video, you should have objected earlier. I'll admit the short clip. Yeah.
Damn. So defense tried to get the whole video, and they're basically saying we should have objected to that earlier when the video was coming out. Damn. I want to see the whole video too.
Enter that as exhibit number 1.
But remember, the family friend, right? The one that we listened to earlier, said that this is all rumor. That the daughter and judge and all of that, like, it's all a rumor. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like it.
And Detective, this is an ongoing investigation.
Yes, it is.
And as this ongoing investigation proceeds, you will be obviously interviewing more people if necessary, submitting more evidence to the lab.
Yes.
That's all I have.
All right. Any other witnesses for the Commonwealth?
No,
All right. You may sit down. Any witnesses for the defendant? I'll find probable cause and bind this case over the grand jury. Anything else? Anything else before we turn court?
There's no, we're not allowed to sum up, Judge, what.
Oh, if you want to make an argument, sure.
It seems like I may change your mind, Judge.
It is a probable cause hearing, so, but yes,
I understand.
take your best shot.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, so, murder under our statute, as the court knows, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but if there is an issue as to extreme emotional disturbance, then there has to be some evidence that would rebut that. And specifically, when I asked the witness today if there was any evidence to rebut that this occurred as a direct result in the moment of this observation of the phone, they have none at this point. And I give it's just probable cause, but I think they've established probable cause for manslaughter first, but not murder. Because I've heard nothing that indicates that this is not, an example of an extreme emotional disturbance relative to the phone. At any rate, Judge, respectfully, I understand the court's previous ruling, but I did want to address that.
No, that's fine. Let
Thank you, Your Honor.
the Commonwealth respond.
Hey, Sally. Hey, y'all. Hello, everybody coming in. It is a tough situation to be in. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Hey, Diane. Glad to see you.
Is a defense. There's not been a defense presented here in this court today. The evidence presented in this court today is that the judge was intentionally shot and killed, shot multiple times by the sheriff, and there's probable cause to promise the grand jury murder charge.
Yeah, I agree. There's probable cause to proceed some murder. All right. Anything else before we adjourn?
I agree with that too. There is probable. I mean, yeah, there is still probable cause because you don't know what's on the phones and stuff. So I don't know. All I can say is I'm kind of nervous about these small town investigators and how reluctant the lead investigator was to answer just the simplest questions, yes or no, not sure. He was just very reluctant, and that makes me nervous. And we all know how small counties can be. The good old boy system is 100% real. I just don't want them to try to cover up whatever was going on in the background. Because I'm going to tell you right now, my gut feeling, my responsible speculation is that this sheriff shooting that judge opened up the closet full of skeletons. That's what I think. All right. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for the love and the support. We will absolutely stay up to date with this case. I ain't going nowhere. We're going to stay with it. All right. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Bye.
If you ever feel lost or caught in a bind, just think of Jones and you'll surely find that the simple life's the one that's truly free. In a hippie hut, just like Jones and you see.